Hi, I'm Ernie Conover. I thought I'd show you how to turn a whistle, which is a really great little turning project. Best of all, it can be done very nicely in a mini lathe, although I'm going to use a rather large one. You need to start out with a 5-inch long by 1-inch square block of maple or other durable wood. The finished whistle is going to be 4 inches long, so this gives us an inch to grab it in a 4-jaw chuck or some waste to discard if we turn it between centers. Either is a good way to turn it. Before you start to turn, however, you need to drill the cross hole for the lanyard that's going to go through the bead here, a tone hole if you want one, and this 45-degree notch for the tone generator called a fipple. With those details accomplished, we simply grab the end in our 4-jaw chuck, get it perfectly centered by catching the center with our live center, and tighten the chuck. Before we can start to turn, we need to drill out the center for the tone chamber with a 3/8 inch diameter hole by 2 7/8 inches deep. If you don't have a 4-jaw chuck, you can drill this by putting the drill in the headstock, catching the center mark with your live center and pushing it against the drill. With the bore drilled, we'll simply bring up our tailstock with a live center again and steady that to give us a little more assurance during turning. And we'll just take a roughing out gouge and bring this perfectly round. And I start now to put some paper in this whistle. And now I'll take a skew chisel and just clean that up and make it a nice straight taper for the length of the whistle. That's looking excellent. We'll now turn the mouthpiece. Straight spindle gouge work. Just turning a gentle half cove here. I like to put a little bead right at the end of the mouthpiece here. I don't think it makes it work any better, but it looks cool. Now we need to turn a bead that is centered on the cross hole for the lanyard. Now we'll sand this well with a small piece of sandpaper. I'm using 180 grit. That's my start and finish. Sharp tools. I've made sanding largely unnecessary. Here's our whistle sanded. And now for a finish, you can either use walnut oil, which is non-toxic, or as I'm using, just the wax. This is carnauba wax, which is very hard and very durable. Leaves a nice polished finish. And there's our finished whistle body. We can now part it off with a small parting tool. We'll sand that out later. Our last task in making our whistle is to take a piece of 3/8 inch diameter dowel and put a 3/32 flat spot on it that goes towards the top here, and that causes the air to stream against this sharp edge and create our sound. I make the piece longer. I make it 1.25 inches long so that I can stick it in and adjust it a little. It has to be nice and square with that edge. While you can sand the flat spot into a piece of 3/8 inch dowel, I actually turn it that way by marking out the ends off center. I use a 3/8 inch diameter wrench to gauge it. And there is my finished dowel with flat spot. This extra piece here acts as sort of a handle, so I can stick this in and adjust it. And you want this to come absolutely flush with this shoulder inside. I'm going to turn it until that's level. And now you test it. It's great. So I'll take a pencil and mark this, put it back in, cut it off, and then I'll put just a teensy bit of glue in there and glue it in place. Enjoy.